Hello. In this question, we're being asked to convert a length of 3.27 meters into a measurement using feet and inches, and then round that number to the nearest 16th of an inch. This is a bit trickier than the previous example, so I'll show you what my plan is before we get started, so that you can see an outline of what the steps are. What we really want to do here is take a metric measurement using decimals and convert it to an imperial measurement that, instead of using the decimal system, uses fractions. In my opinion, the best plan for solving this problem is to first convert meters into feet, where feet is given as a decimal. Then leave the whole number part as feet, but take the leftover part after the decimal point and convert that into inches. Then, again, keep the whole number part and leave that as inches, and take the decimal portion and change that to the closest fraction over 16. Those are the steps I'm going to follow, and if it sounds confusing, then I'm sure it will become more clear once you see me actually go through it step by step. Step 1 is to convert 3.77 meters into feet. This step is just like a regular unit conversion. First thing we need is a relation between feet and meters. It turns out that 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. Now I want to take the 3.77 meters that we're starting out with and multiply it by a fraction that has meters on the bottom in order to make it cancel out. So I'm going to use 3.28 feet over 1 meter. When I multiply that by 3.77 meters, the result is 3.77 times 3.28, which is 12.3656 feet. At this point, I already know that the answer will have 12 feet in it, plus some number of inches added to it. I know that because it turned out that 3.77 meters was equal to 12 whole feet plus 0.3656 feet, which I just need to change into inches. If the question was just asking for an answer in feet, I would be finished and the answer would be 12.3656. But it wanted the answer to be in feet and inches. So we now need to take the part of that answer that was after the decimal and convert that into inches. The part after the decimal was 0.3656 feet, and I need a conversion factor to change that to inches. I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 12 inches make up 1 foot. So I can multiply the 0.3656 feet by 12 inches over 1 foot. And that will make the feet units cancel. The result is 0.3656 times 12 is 4.372. Now we're one step closer because now we know that 3.77 meters we started out with equals 12 feet and 4.3872 inches. But the question also wanted the answer to be rounded to the nearest 16th of an inch. That means we need to take the part to the right of the decimal, and the inches this time, and change it to a fraction where the denominator is over 16. So I'll just make a note that 4 is the number of whole inches in the answer, and we need to convert the part to the right of the decimal to a fraction over 16. The quickest way to do this is to multiply 0.3872 by 16. And what we're really doing here is changing the denominator by multiplying the top and the bottom by 16. If you recall, one of the rules for fractions is that you can multiply the top and the bottom by the same number to find an equivalent fraction with a different denominator. Usually that comes in handy when we're trying to add fractions together by finding a common denominator. This time I want to take 0.3872 over 1 and multiply it by 16 over 16. This gives a result of 6.1952 over 16, which we round down to 6 over 16. So now we know that that 0.3872 inches that was left over is actually equal to 6/16 of an inch. So that will be a part of the answer. So putting it all together, we had 12 feet and 4 6/16 inches, and that is the final answer. Therefore, I can write that 3.77 meters is the same as 12 feet, 4 6/16 inches. And there is just another way of writing it that you might see. Now, the reason you might have to do this calculation in the first place is if you had to measure out this distance on a ruler or a tape measure that's marked like this one. On this ruler, the numbers represent inches, and there are 16 lines between each inch. So each line or tick mark between them represents a 16th of an inch. Now see if you can figure out where 4 6/16 inches would be on this ruler. If this is where you thought it was, then you're absolutely right. This is exactly 6 tick marks after the 4. So this arrow shows where you would measure up to if you wanted to draw a length of 4 6/16 inches.